The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you're encouraged to like and share them on Facebook. It's time for the African American Scene, brought to you by Howard Insurance of Port St. Lucie and hosted by Rudy Howard.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Always glad to be here with you on a Wednesday night. I am still a hurt puppy, though. That cold is still beating on me and my wife, and we both got the sniffles, and now my eyes swole up, so I'm a mess, but I'm here. You know, I'll play hurt. So, and we're going to have open mic night tonight. I was going to have Noni Walker on. She asked if I could make it next week, and that's okay. Noni, as you will recall, is the daughter of my late friend David Walker, and she wrote a book, and she's in also some life skills type things. So she should be a very interesting interview and a guest. And, you know, you should enjoy talking to her, and she can help you with maybe some of your life issues. Listen, we're having open mic night, and one of the things that we're going to talk about, we're going to attempt to talk about, is the Kavanaugh situation. I have to tell you, you know, you think with me doing this every week that I pretty much have seen everything, but every now and then I get surprised by reactions. And the reactions that I have seen from Kavanaugh are absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, people are ravaged, mad about the whole Kavanaugh thing. And I'm thinking to myself, holy mackerel, why such hostility? And you know, and I want to hear why you're so angry. The phone number is 340-1590. That's 340-1590. Now, I can understand tribalism to a certain extent, but man, people are really, really angry about this Kavanaugh situation. And I have some thoughts about that I'll like to share with you, but and we're going to do another Rudy poll tonight. And the poll we're going to do tonight is, are you going to support Gillum or DeSantis? And you cannot just call in and give me your vote for Gillum or give me your vote for DeSantis for governor. Now, as of today, Gillum is still leading very slightly DeSantis by 4%. And the women are leading 56 Gillum, 43 DeSantis. But anyway, we have Chuck on line one. How you doing, Chuck?
Pretty good. I sure hate to take advantage of an injured player tonight.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay, well, I called to talk about the Kavanaugh situation.
Okay.
And the sooner the FBI can wrap up their re-interviews, the quicker they can vote him in, and we can have a very fine justice sitting on the Supreme Court.
Okay.
And I do believe there's so much misinformation given out by Ms. Ford, and so many holes in her story that there'll probably be some rude awakening when the FBI report gets put out.
Yeah, what about any other way? You don't think there'll be any rude awakening the other way?
What could there possibly be? Just tell me. Because he threw ice in somebody's face? No, wait. Not because he threw ice it was alleged during an incident where other people got arrested by somebody that didn't like him. And he was never charged, never arrested, nothing on that. And I saw the interview with the police department on the TV.
So did I.
Happened. Okay. So that's a nothing. What do they call it? Nothing burger. And as far as her not knowing where, when, how she got there, how she got home, nothing else. Lying about not being able to fly, and an ex-boyfriend coming out with information that she lived in a very small apartment when he dated her, and they flew to several places, and she loved flying as far as he knew. The whole thing, there's all kinds of stuff coming out about it, but it's not reported on the mainstream media.
So you think this is a plot by the mainstream media against Kavanaugh?
I never said that. I think it's a plot by the Democrats because they've lost office. They've lost their power. They're not the ones that caused this thing to be delayed further. It was basically 3 Republicans that's causing it to be delayed. Actually, one, that's Flake, because somebody yelled at him. I guess it hurt his feelings, so he decided not to, man up.
Okay. So, well, Chuck. Okay, so you're saying he didn't man up. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Why would this very successful PhD college professor who has a very good life and a very fine job come forward and tell this lie? Why?
Well, let's just turn that around and say, why would somebody go through life and become probably the most brilliant legal mind today or any day, and come from a background of gang rape and groping and that sort of thing?
Nobody said anything about a gang rape per se, but the groping. Let me answer that for you.
Okay.
I'll gladly answer that for you. I went to school with a guy, for fear that somebody might know him, I won't say his name, who was drunk and marijuana'd up every day for 4 years while I was at college. I mean every day. You could see him staggering across the quad. Today, he is a renowned doctor in the state of Maine. Now, I could tell you personally, I wouldn't let him touch me because I saw him with my own 2 eyes staggering across the campus. But evidently he was one of those guys that he still got straight A's, even though he was in an inebriated state most of the time. Now, I'm going to suggest to you, having been in college, there is no doubt in my mind that Kavanaugh was a party boy. And I have also been to parties at Yale. They had a place called The Cave. And we used to drive from Springfield to New Haven to The Cave, where they had big parties. So I'm going to say to you, this choir boy image, what pisses me off about him, he tried to paint this choir boy image, and that is so far from who he is. Now, he might be brilliant. I don't doubt that for 1 second. And he may be a man that is in complete command of the law, but the rest of it is BS.
Okay, well, I think you're being a little disingenuous because, number one, if the guy's the top of his field in this profession and you needed something done that was serious and you wouldn't let him operate on you, I'd have to question your mental facility.
Well, listen, why did I say that to you, though? Why did I tell you that?
Well,
because
you
I
tried
saw
to use that as an analogy, but it fails
How
Failed as an analogy.
how did it fail?
Well, because just what you said, and I got news for you. If he's a brain surgeon and you had glioblastoma, and the only way you could get rid of it was a surgeon that could cut it out, and he was the best there was, and it was a pick between him and the guy that sells newspapers on the corner, I guarantee you'd pick him. And it's disingenuous to say that you wouldn't. So that, number one, when you use that as an analogy and try to demean a man that's accomplished as much as he has with no proof, and he's the one that said that he drank beer, liked beer, embraced beer, and...
I had proof, though. I saw the guy. With my own two eyes, I saw the guy, my guy, I saw my guy staggering across campus with his red eyes. I saw him every day.
So what?
Okay.
If he came into the operating room staggering with red eyes, I could see you saying, no, that's all right, I'll pass.
Well, memory's hard to shake.
Well, I'm just telling you, that was my own... And this guy is a...
Well, how many women did he grope and rape and gang rape and beat up in boats and all that stuff? How many?
There's no telling.
Oh, I don't know, because I mean he wasn't in my circle of friends, but listen, come on,
Yeah,
you know what really, here's what upsets me about you guys.
About us guys.
Yeah, the conservatives. Let me tell you what upsets me. Because I said this last week, and somebody said, well, why do you want him to admit to something that he didn't do?
That's a good question.
If he had said, when he came up and testified, and he said, you know what, when I was 17, 18 years old, I've been known to party and have a few too many drinks. Yes, I'm guilty of that.
He said that. He said that. I listened to the whole thing, my friend, and I'm telling you, he said that.
I did too. No, he never said that.
Yes, he most certainly did.
No, he did not. No, he did not.
On occasion, he probably had one or two too many, not even one or two, but too much beer. He said that. I heard him say that.
I remember the part that you're talking about.
Yeah,
there was a whole series of questions that he was asked before that, and he tried to be the choir boy. And that's what, and listen, and like I said before, I am a guy, I did some things that I ain't totally proud of when I was younger, and there's nobody can convince me, that this woman came up here and gave this testimony and turned her life upside down, and did it for just...
Before you go too far down that road, number one, who paid for her attorneys? Nobody. They're working pro bono. Who paid for the polygraph that was 2 questions? Nobody. The attorneys, not her.
That's not true. She had a GoFundMe page after she declared that she was going to give this testimony. She had a GoFundMe page to help her offset the expenses for security and for her legal bills. And she's, by the way, is not accepting any more money through her GoFundMe page.
Okay, by the way, the attorneys admitted that they were working pro bono and that they paid for the polygraph, and the Senate Judiciary Committee paid for her travel and staying in the hotels while she testified.
Okay, so
she had nothing in this game except $1 million in GoFundMe, and she hasn't signed the book contract yet. So, look, the woman is on drugs, number one. You can see that in her eyes, okay? I've been around too many of them.
God.
Oh, God, don't say anything about that. Let's say that Brett Kavanaugh is a staggering, fall-down drunk, but don't say that the woman was sitting there, didn't know what was going on half the time, had to ask her attorneys, what should I say, and you're telling me she wasn't on beta blockers? Come on.
Okay, if that's your look, you're entitled to your opinion.
Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Okay, but I mean, nothing. She has brought nothing to the table. No corroborating evidence. All it is a bunch of, what she says happened. Doesn't know when, where, who, what, where, and I take that back. She seems to know who, but she doesn't know how, when, where, or anything else.
Well,
that's not mocking her. Isn't that what the president did? Are you mocking her?
That's what he's doing. He's mocking her.
Like the president.
He's mocking her, and I think it's shameful because I hope you don't have any daughters.
Yes, sir. I've got 4 daughters, 5 granddaughters, and a grandson.
Okay. That's.
And every one of them will tell you the same thing. She's a liar.
Okay. All right.
So you can take this only so far down the road. The guy brought his calendar, his appointment book or calendar, as evidence to prove where he was. And then they're trying to say, oh yeah, well he was here because all 4 of these names are here on this day. Yet you got to add an extra 20 miles to where she claimed it was close to her house. First, she said it was about 6 miles from her house. Then it was 12 miles from her house. Now you can add another 20. So did she walk there? Did she walk back? That took it from a 15-minute drive to over an hour drive, just one way. And you're telling me that
and you know what? I am sure when you were 17. You had a daily calendar with all of your activities. I'm positive of that.
No, sir, I didn't. Because
wait a minute. I am shocked. You mean to tell me at 17 you did not have a calendar that documented all of the activities that you did every day for the past years?
Maybe we ought to call it a little black book. Did you have a little black book?
No, well, let me tell you, I do have a little black book, but it has nothing to do with time and date.
Okay. All right, sir.
If I had a major incident happen to me, then I would remember how I got there, how I got back, who it was that drove me, especially if it was something that life-changing that she lied about the 2 doors in her house. Oh, well, I just needed 2 doors because I felt closed in, and it turns out she put 2 doors in because she rented a space out to a marriage counselor. It was their customers' entry and exit. So,
okay.
There's just too much going on with this woman.
Okay, Chuck. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, read the Bible.
Okay. And we got Steve on line 1. Yes, Steve.
How you been?
Okay.
So, are you thinking Kavanaugh's guilty?
Don't come on here and start trying to tell me what I think. If you got a statement to make, I'm going
to play my game.
If you got a statement to make your statement.
Okay.
Okay.
The first question, I do have a first question because I've never drank alcohol, never been drunk, never smoked marijuana, never did any drugs.
Well, it must have been a boring life.
See, now that's a liberal statement right there.
Really?
But I was a surfer, I was a hunter, I was a fisher, I did all kinds of things. So that don't talk to me about boring. But as a question, because you're more experienced in that way, which would you have more possibility to not know what you were doing, under alcohol or maybe cocaine?
I'm not answering that question.
How about under?
Because the question to me, why are you asking me what would be my experience?
Not your experience, but what would you think? I mean,
I don't think, because I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you whether or not someone would be more affected on alcohol.
Are you baiting Rudy to break the law by making him practice medicine on the radio when he's not licensed?
Ask your partner over there. Then cry. From my research, actually, my daughter is a psychology for the VA, but cocaine, you would definitely have more probability of not remembering whatever. So, but my point is the progressives and the liberals and the left-wing Democrats have already reached a point of saying that Kavanaugh is guilty. And I watched both hearings, so I know kind of what everybody said. But I broke it down into three points. They say Kavanaugh is guilty from one is because the woman is credible, that he's being accused by a credible woman. The second thing is he's guilt by association. This is general overviews of everything. Frat boys, the people that he was supposed to be around, whatever. That's guilt by association. And the third one was, which is really extreme, which I've heard by a few, even senators, that he's a white man and white men should shut up, and we don't need any more white men in power. And so those are the three criteria that are kind of take about everything. Everything else is pretty much subjective because you can't prove one way or another.
We don't need any more white men in power. Okay.
Yeah, that's and you'll agree on that. Shut that white guy up, especially me. But on the other hand, if I was to change that scenario and put a black man in that situation and put the same accusations where a black man was accused by a credible white woman, or a black man was considered guilty by association because a lot of people believe, by looking at rap, that men have a trouble controlling their sexual character. By looking at rap, it's kind of puts it out there. And then the last part would be, we don't need any more black men in power. Those statements right there would be considered racist and hate speech. And actually, I would agree with it because it's not objective reasoning. And that's where we've got the whole thing all wrong. Objective reasoning means things that you can put on the table and know and show somebody that there are facts. Credible comes from reasonable, and the key point, reasonable, reason to believe. And reason means reason. We've taken the word credible to mean, it sounds like she was really, or, man, I'm mad. They're two extremes. Kavanaugh couldn't win.
Now you're mumbling. And first of all, you said, I don't think any more white men should be in power.
No, I said you would like that, less white men in power and more black men in power to equal out the diversity, as you would put it, right? Or I'm wrong there?
No, I want competent people in power. I don't care if they're white or they're black, as long as they're competent and they believe in some of the same ideas I have. That they don't have to be.
This is a hallelujah movement for me.
They don't have to be black. And there's plenty of white people out here who I have a similar ideology with that would be just fine with me.
Oh, but hallelujah moment here. We've come from a place that we don't need judging black men on a jury. It could be white men that you accepted, or do we need black people? See, the diversity argument goes all around. Unless you have people of color that can have the same feelings, because the argument is white people can't feel what black people feel.
Most of you can't. That's true.
Okay, then I'm back to my argument again. It would be better from your point of view that there would be a black man, not a white man.
Because there are white people that get it. There are white people that get it. When we had the civil rights marches, there was white people that marched in the civil rights marches. There was white people that got killed in the civil rights marches.
Absolutely.
Because they believed and understood the trauma that the black man was experiencing at that time. So they did it because they get it.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, all white people don't get it.
And who is the judge of that, Rudy?
Their actions.
Oh, their actions. Now we got
the words that come out of their mouth. Yeah.
The words that come out of their mouth. So now, who's the judge again? You're talking about you just made a prejudice statement because you prejudged people in a way that there's no way you could know.
What? How did I prejudge them?
Okay, let's give an example.
I say let's
Hillary
judge
Clinton
everybody.
said that the people that voted for Trump were a bunch of idiots,
Deplorables.
and racist, and see,
Did I say?
generalization.
Did I say
you didn't
that?
say that? No, but generalizations.
But did I say that though?
Did you say that they
That
were
everybody
stupid?
that voted for Trump was a bunch of racists?
Did you say the ones that? Because,
Did I say that? Answer the question.
No. Rudy, don't play the.
Answer the question. We're not going to play that game. Answer the question. If you're going to say I said something, say I said it.
I said,
Did I say that?
you did not say that the people that voted for Trump were all racist. You
Okay.
did say that Trump was, by association, by the KKK and people that were white supremacists backing him, that there was a tendency for that to be in his character. And they accused him of being racist. And that's almost exactly the point I'm trying to make. If you start making, again, my point is that justice is not subjective, it's objective. Sure, we can go and say, well, is that a
Justice
white
is
supremacist?
supposed to be objective.
Okay, and if it's not, what is it?
Well, justice is supposed to be objective, but it has not always been objective.
Okay, and I will agree with that.
Okay, then.
Is Kavanaugh being objectively found guilty in what's going on right now?
What do you mean?
Is there substantial, verifiable evidence to prove that he did anything wrong?
I have not seen the FBI report, so I can't answer that.
Up until this point, so you're saying right now there is none.
What I'm saying is that I have not seen the FBI report,
Yes
so
or no?
I don't
right
know.
Now, at this point, yes or no? At this point, right now, is there verifiable evidence? I'm going to play your game. Yes or no?
No, because
Okay.
that doesn't work because there's still
Rudy.
that doesn't work because there's evidence out there that has been gathered, and we know that it's been gathered, but it has not been reported on yet.
Rudy,
So
that has been to the discretion.
this is my show, Steve. You better get that. This is my show. I get to answer the questions the way I want. I ask the questions the way I want. Okay?
Tell you what,
I think
now
you
I'm gonna-
forget. I think you forget sometime whose show this is. This is my show.
I agree.
Okay.
I do.
Okay,
But
good.
But what I'm going to say next is this is exactly, and I drew you into this trap because this is Zelensky's type of reasoning. By drawing people in to get them mad, to make them appear that they've lost control so that they can use that against the people. The other thing is Zelensky's deal is people cannot live up to their own ideals. So when you find one that they didn't live up to, hit it hard and keep hitting it hard. And then the next one is take an individual and freeze it and get them and go after them. And the next one is accusation. Make accusations.
Are we
Because
going through
accusations
Saul
are-
I think he's
Alinsky?
pontificating all over
Are
himself.
we going through Saul Alinsky again? Do you know anything else other than cryptic bull crap that you read to try to
Yes.
demonize people on the left? I'm done with you for tonight. I am going to the next call. Jay on line 1. Yes, sir.
Oh, good afternoon. How you doing, Rudy?
Good.
So most of you are going to have a full moon tonight. Sound like we're going to have a full moon or something's going to go down tonight that I got to look out for. I mean, this is getting to be a little crazy. But, Trump said a long time when he was running for president, he made a statement, and I never forgot it. He said, I can shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue,
Yep.
and my supporters will still be behind me.
Yep.
And I watched these rallies he's having while this thing is going on. We're like trying to confirm the figure out what's going on with Garland, and it just not Garland. I mean,
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh, and I'm watching, and I'm thinking about all of what's going on, and it's getting crazy, man. These people are just ridiculous, and it just doesn't make sense. I think about the time factor in FBI, and I know what the FBI does because I was interviewed by the equivalent to the FBI in the military when I went for my top secret crypto clearance. I know exactly how they do it and what they do and the reason why they do it.
Yeah.
But they're not really following up because there's a lot of things that's preventing them from really doing the investigation that they should be doing. And it should go as long as they have to go to interview people to get to the bottom of it because it's so crucial. It's crucial. How this guy can be on it for 40 years.
I agree.
So why can't they let it go? Let the FBI do their job, even if it takes a month or 2 weeks. What's the big deal? As long as you know that you got somebody on there that's credible, who doesn't have any skeletons in the closet, and who's not there, as somebody that might blow up like he blew up the other day. That right there, if he was going for an interview for a job, he would have lost the job right there. A regular, real job, he would have lost it because whoever was interviewing him said, "This is not the person I want working for my firm."
Hey, listen, and you know what?
Huh?
They always have a convenient lapse of memory.
Yeah.
You remember what they did to Loretta Lynch?
Oh yeah.
Loretta Lynch, who was recommended by Giuliani as a top-notch lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
They made her wait and wait and wait and wait. No complaining about that.
Right.
And there was nothing to wait for. They had all the information they needed to know about her. She had prosecuted mafia cases.
Right.
She had the highest ranking in the Eastern Court in New York, and they made her wait.
Yeah.
And now they're complaining because they want some additional information. What hypocrisy!
Yeah, because you got to understand, Rudy, they're trying to rush this thing through because they know that this guy has got some skeletons in his closet. They know that. They know that he's not, that there's things in his background because they're hiding a lot of it that when he was working with the Bush administration, with the torture memo, with all of that stuff with John Yoo and all of those crazy people that were creating all that havoc, trying to come up with things how to torture human beings.
Yeah.
And he wrote some memos, and he was working with John Yoo. And see, this is information that they don't want to, that the Democrats, they don't want to pass on to the Democrats. They've been trying to get this for the last month.
Yeah.
From his dealings in the Bush administration when he started out. But it's just so many things. But like I said, if he was going for a job, just going to a corporation out here or whatever, and he acted like he did the other day, and just went off. Like he's going to gorilla somebody, and they went along with it. Everybody just got quiet and everything, and they let him do his thing. But to me, right then, it should have been over right there. And these three Republicans that are sitting on the fence, I can't see how they live with themselves if they vote for this character. Yeah. With all of the, with everything that they say, and they say that we need a full investigation, we need all of this, and the people in Maine and in Alaska and all those places, they're raising hell with these people. With these senators, they tell them, "What's wrong with y'all?
Yeah,
we don't need somebody like that on the highest court in the nation." The guy's not even. Look at him. He's the way he talks, the way he's bragging. He's got all of these. The skeleton. He's got all these things in his background, and all of this is coming out little by little as the FBI is talking to different people. People are telling stories. Some of the people that were very close to Brad. This guy, Kavanaugh, that was very close to him in school and all that, they're telling real stories.
They are.
And it's amazing that this character's still hanging around, but this is what, McConnell wants, and, the people on that Senate confirmation hearing, this is what they want. They got they're in the hooks with Trump, and he's, he's got problems with his taxes now. So there's a lot of things mounting up, and it's going to catch up to him. And I think that, it's going to be sad if they do confirm this guy, and then it's going to be hard to get him out once he gets in the Supreme Court.
Jay, thanks for calling, man. I got another
Take
call.
Care.
Okay, we got Bob on line 3. Yes, sir.
Hey, Rudy, how you doing?
Okay.
It's funny how Ford wanted an FBI investigation before she testified, yet the Republicans said, okay, you can have your FBI investigation, then when they have their FBI investigation, they don't interview either Ford or Kavanaugh, the two principals in the case.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So
So
mean,
how does it make you feel?
Makes me feel strange.
well, I don't know. And let me say this to you. I don't know if you read this or not, but you know, she took a lie detector test.
Right?
And Kavanaugh wrote a judicial opinion on the Court of Appeals that lie detector tests are a legitimate tool to evaluate the veracity of somebody testifying.
Right?
He's saying it's legitimate, and then everybody else is saying, well, it doesn't mean anything if she does a lie detector test. Hey, listen.
Weird.
All I'm going to say is this, and I'm a man. I think we as men have done a crappy job when it comes to respecting women on a broader scale. And I, as a young man, was not as respectful as I should have been. But one of the things that somebody said to me that kind of struck me, I guess I was in my 30s,
Right?
and he said, you know, you are dealing with somebody else's mother-to-be, or that could be your sister. And I always kept that in the back of my mind and said, you know what? You have to remember what was told to you. And women are deserving of respect. Listen, I told my son, and he would tell anybody I said this. I told him, I said, if some woman ever came to this house and said you forced yourself on her, I'd take a baseball bat and beat the hell out of you. And he looked at me and he said, you do that, Dad? I said, absolutely. You can't do that. You can't, I won't allow that here. He said,
Well, when I was about maybe 12, I hit a girl with a hand. She called me some name and I hit her. And my dad found out about it, and he took me aside and he said to me, you never, ever, ever do that to a young lady. I was about 12, and I think she was about the same age.
right. And so that was the end of that, right?
That was that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not sure that all of us have put those values in our kids. And sometimes I don't think we've treated women with the kind of respect they rightfully deserve. And that makes me sad, you know. But hey. And this whole situation here, I can't believe how polarizing it has become, because and while I don't know for sure, I can't look inside other people's minds, it's almost as if it's like this is his job. Why are you, he is entitled to this job and you don't have a right to stop him. That's the impression I'm getting, is that this is his. Why are you not allowing him to have what belongs to him? You know, I don't know. But anyway, thank you for the call, Bob.
Okay, Rudy.
Okay. And how are we doing with our poll?
Well, you know, I kind of wondered if we got off track from it, but so far, all the calls that have come in that we that called in for the poll, DeSantis or Gillian, 50-50
Okay.
right now. So, I mean, if it was a vote, it would only take your vote to make a difference.
Okay, so we're having another one of my Howard polls tonight. And the poll is, are you supporting DeSantis or Gillum? And if you want to call in and participate, that phone number is 340-1590. And I will announce the winner at the end of the hour. And we only got about 15 minutes left.
About 14 minutes, just a little under 14 minutes, so 340-1590.
Yeah.
Another thing that we've been learning lately since it was a National Association of Broadcasters show in Orlando. Greg and Carol shared with us that the future is here when it comes to the digital stuff between our streaming on Alexa and Google on TuneIn and people's abilities to use cell phones. We're moving into a whole new thing with radio.
Oh, yeah. That's for sure. The advances in technology are moving at such a breakneck speed that it's absolutely unbelievable. It is unbelievable the speed at which things are moving.
Well, they'll be able to listen in anywhere in the world on the internet through Alexa or Google devices. Hey, Google, play WPSL on TuneIn. But then they'll be able to use their cell phone from their car while they're listening to call in 1-772-340-1590. And they can literally call us from anywhere on the planet where they're hooked up to the internet. In their car, on their phone, on their laptop, on their PC, on their Mac, on their tablet. It's
pretty
everywhere,
cool.
Everywhere.
Yeah, that's something else. I'll tell you how much things have changed. I have a Bose radio in my office, and it had a CD changer. It has a CD changer on it, and the CD changer stopped working, and I had it. I guess I've had it for about 7 or 8 years, and it plays beautiful music. And I went to send it back, and they said, we don't service those anymore. I said, you don't? They said, no.
They didn't mind selling them in their day.
Yeah, they said, we don't make the parts for it, and we don't service those anymore. I said, oh. So I have to... They hooked me up with a device which I've yet to figure out how to work. It's a wireless connecting device that will do Pandora and whatever and play it through my radio.
Okay.
I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I got the device. I've had it there for about a month, I guess.
See, radio is the key word. It's changing into something else, a more of a multimedia type. Well, I can't even call it a device because it's available on so many different devices, from the PCs and laptops and tablets to the cell phones, even the Macintosh computers, and the Android phones and the iPhones.
Yeah,
there's something for everybody in this high tech world, and we're kind of moving into it, into an area that we knew we're heading for it. We just weren't quite sure how to define it yet.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man, it's amazing, and when you just and in our lifetime, Cliff, the changes technologically have been astounding.
And our ability to react to politics and what's going on because of social media.
Yeah.
I mean, never before in history have we ever had an opportunity to maybe make a comment on something that the whole world might hear.
That's right.
You know, things go viral on the internet, and when they do, we're talking about millions of page views, millions of hits, and that's what makes the money roll around on the internet is the clicks, the click-throughs.
Yeah.
And you're all a part of it. We're going right on into this future thing with the millennials, the kids that have been born since the year 2000 rolled around. They're all becoming adults right about now.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm just telling you though, man. I think back, and I think I told this story once before here on the radio. Straight out of college, my first day on the job, traveler's trainee, and I walk into the clerical area, and all the tops of the desks are blue. And I'm looking, and I'm seeing, and all the girls, all their desks is covered in blue. And I said to myself, why are the tops of the desks colored in blue? Because they were using carbon paper. Carbon paper. So when they were typing the policies or the claim notices, in order to make multiple copies, they had to use carbon paper.
I remember Xerox. Remember?
Yeah.
The blue.
And there was no photocopy at first. I remember that, the one you crank with an arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my first stereo in my car was an 8-track.
Oh, my.
And I said that to a young person. They said, "What's an 8-track?" I said, "That was a piece of music that was as big as your head, and you stuck it in your car and played it."
Radio stations, we had carts. We'd put the song on a cart instead of a 45, and the cart looked like an 8-track.
Yeah.
It was wheel-driven. The wheel would go up inside of the cartridge and turn the tape against the heads, and that's how we'd use it. But they looked like 8-tracks. And now, believe it or not, we still find an 8-track player or 8-track music once in a while still on Swap Shop these days. Every once in a great while. Oh, your poll has been working out during the show. I've been taking calls.
Yeah.
And apparently all of the conservative listeners of WPSL, or at least most of them, have ganged up on us and given us a bunch of leads on DeSantis here. Between DeSantis and Gillum, the Howard poll for tonight, DeSantis or Gillum, and of course DeSantis is way ahead right now, and the phone's still ringing because these are our regulars.
Yeah, okay.
They're faithful to the shows they listen to here.
Okay. So yeah, it is amazing. One of the topics I covered a couple of weeks ago is that the school system wants to go put more emphasis on vocational education. Do we think that's a good idea? And I would say, yeah, I think that might be a good idea to put more emphasis on vocational education. I know even though I was on the college prep track in junior high school, I had to have electric shop, I had to have metal shop, and they don't do that anymore. And I had to take those 2 shop classes in junior high school.
And you'll continuously get yourself in trouble by stating that it is far less expensive to run a kid through college than it is to run them through the prison system.
Oh boy, you're going to get me in trouble
that's
again.
That's the one that they don't like to hear. But why do people not like to hear that? I'll tell you what, the people have a problem with truth. When truth raises its ugly head, it's always ugly for some reason.
Hey, listen, man, do you know how much money we could save from doing that? Because it's so expensive to incarcerate kids. And here's the thing. If you're in the foster care system, okay, and I don't know how many people know this, but if you're a kid in the foster care system and you reach 18, if you are with a family that does not wish to continue to keep you, because at that point the compensation stops, they will no longer get paid for you. And at that point, you either do one of 2 things. If you have the aptitude, there's a program for foster kids where they can go to college.
That's right. Stay in school.
If you don't have the aptitude, at 18 years old, you are out on your own.
That's unfortunately the truth for a lot of people.
And God knows I was not ready to be on my own at 18. And those are the little things that people don't understand when they talk about, saving lives and this and that and the other. Okay, I get it.
You mean there's no magic wand that goes by as soon as you turn 18 where everything turns out happily ever after? There's no such thing as a magic wand that does that.
And if you're 18 and the family you've been staying with says, I'm not keeping you anymore because I'm not getting any more money, you're done.
Now, they can keep getting money if you stay in school, go to college.
Yeah.
And there are plans available
Yes.
Thank goodness there are plans available
Yes.
for these kids.
You have to pass the test that says you have the aptitude, but if you pass the aptitude test, then you can go on to college and they'll pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's your choices.
Now there are also some kids out there who were foster kids who are now adopted. That's a whole lot different there because
Yep.
When you're adopted and you're legally a family member, then of course it comes with a lot of benefits that most kids grow up thinking it's a given, and they have no idea what a lot of other kids have to go through. So
That's true.
we're all in this together, so we kind of got to hold each other's hand every now and then when it comes to this kind of thing.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Wow.
We are. So what's it look like? The final numbers on the poll?
Final numbers on your poll. If Rudy's poll were to determine the next governor of the state of Florida, DeSantis just won. Just in the poll on Rudy's show here. But, of course, now, Rudy, it was tied through most of the show until we mentioned that just another vote or two could change everything, and it has. Several votes came in, and they made sure of it. And I recognized they were all different voices. It wasn't like the same guy calling. I recognized some of the different voices, and I've heard some of these other voices on other radio shows on the station, including Rush and Tom Sullivan. You know who I get a kick out of hearing on Tom Sullivan every now and then is your buddy Carlos.
Yeah.
He gets through on Tom Sullivan a lot. It's like, wow, he did it again, Carlos. Yeah, wow. And he makes a presence on this show quite often. And of course, we really do love Steve. He gives us a hard time, but we ask for it, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
I have to straighten him out because he tries to go around Farmer's Den and hit me up with some garbage.
And then if the conversation doesn't do good, he'll hit you with a bunch of theology questions.
Yeah, and then he tries to. Then he's kind of shrewd about trying to change the subject. He got into Saul Alinsky again tonight, and we weren't talking anything about Saul Alinsky, but he managed to get that in there.
Was he the guy that didn't like hearing about the browning of America a while back?
Yes.
The browning of America will happen, friends, but it'll only happen in the voting booth.
That's it, yeah.
Best place to start.
Well, listen, folks, I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in the African American Scene. And we will have a guest next week, Noni Walker. God bless and be safe. And I will see you next Wednesday right here for the African American Scene.
Wednesday, 6:05 p.m., the African American Scene with Rudy Howard right here.
Serving the entire Treasure Coast, Howard Insurance and Associates in Port St. Lucie offers a wide variety of insurance products, along with the very best customer service. Whether you're shopping for the best homeowners coverage at the most affordable value, contact Rudy Howard's team at Howard Insurance and Associates. If you need coverage for your vehicle, call Howard Insurance and Associates, 343-9878. That's 343-9878. Maybe you're planning to add a boat, motorcycle, or RV. Call Howard Insurance and Associates for your free quote at 343-9878 and get the coverage you need at a cost that will fit your budget. For home or business, auto or recreational vehicle, choose Howard Insurance and Associates, 600 Southwest Darwin Boulevard, Suite